This is a run through of the grading scale for English 1101 essays. This is for all the 100-point essays that will be assigned in the semester. There is a handout like the one you see here on the screen that's available in the course resources module. You'll also see a shortened, abbreviated version that will accompany your grade in Canvas. So this is weighted as far as the things I'm looking for. So critical thinking skills, 40%, organization, 25, language choices, vocabulary, 15, grammar, mechanics, MLA, 20% of the grade. And I do measure each of those sections by simply looking at, is this on a scale of 1 to 5? Is it 1, which means it's not really good? 3, which is an average score, or 5, excellent. If you get 5 in everything, you get 100 points. I will say I've never had a student do that well on an essay, but I think 96 is the highest that anybody has gotten. But don't let that worry you. So I want to just kind of run through each of those sections. Here's critical thinking, 40% of the grade. Is the rhetorical mode correct for the assignment? That means if I ask you to write a narrative, you're writing a narrative. Or if I ask you to write an argument, you're writing an argument. Do you have relevant details? So not just details, but make sure that it all fits around the thesis. What are those details in the case of being synthesized so that everybody can kind of understand where you're coming from? Have you looked at focus on topic, purpose, and audience? Those are 3 elements that you will want in every essay. Does the essay follow the rules of logic and avoid fallacies? That doesn't necessarily come in for a narrative essay, but for a comparison, a cause and effect, an argument, that is definitely important. Is there adequate, solid evidence to support your generalizations? And are there an appropriate selections of details, examples, and quotations if needed? I'm going to look at all that. And if I see that it's kind of, you're getting the job done, but not really looking any deeper than just supporting the thesis, I probably will give you a 3, a 4. If you do all these things, you do them really well, obviously a 5. The next part, which is 25%, is organization and structure. So I look that you have an intro, body, conclusion. I want to see an obvious thesis statement. Although thesis statements can also be understood, so you may not have necessarily one sentence, but it might be a combination, so the reader knows the direction of the essay. I look at paragraphs. Have you understood the topic sentence idea in paragraphs? And then do you develop those paragraphs? Sentence structure. I look for a complexity of levels of sentence structure. So, in other words, you're not writing sentences that are kind of all the same, which comes in with the repetition. If an essay is, I went to the store, I bought bread, I came home, I made a sandwich, you're boring a reader who is obviously a college audience. So remember to revise for sentence structure even after you've written just one draft of your essay. Are things coherent as well? That's using transitional words and phrases throughout the essay so you can guide your reader as they go along. And is there unity in what we have in the organization and structure? And of course, scored 1 to 5 in this category as well. Language choices, I look for vocabulary that's appropriate to topic, audience, and writer. I don't mean appropriate in the sense of, you're not swearing, but Something that is at that college level. You're looking at precise word choices. You're looking at the denotative and connotative meanings of words, which we'll talk about next week. Does the vocabulary demonstrate objectivity? That's one that will depend on the type of essay that you're writing, and we'll tackle that later. And also avoid any vocabulary that calls attention to the fact that you're writing an essay. You don't want to ever put in this essay, I will talk about, or junk up sentences like, when I saw the library with my own eyes, I was amazed. And I think everybody knows that you see with your eyes, so obviously you could trim that sentence down. And of course, the 1 through 5 multiplied for the 15%. Last, not least, is the grammar and MLA format. I'm looking, of course, that you have grammar usage that's at the college level. That doesn't mean that you've made absolutely no mistakes, because most people make mistakes. So I'm looking for, do you not have sentence fragments? You've not misused punctuation, all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk a little bit more about that with the first assignment. Do you have spelling or typing errors? And that is something that you want to obviously repair. And is the MLA format correct? And this is going back to that sample essay. It's available also in the course resources module. And then the best way to look at getting MLA information is going straight to Owlet Purdue. There is a link in course resources for that as well. So this one, 1 through 5, and multiplied by 4, and you'll get a score for that essay. So that's it in a nutshell. Remember that you can also see this grading scale in the course resources.